Jeez Louise. Frickin' Joe Pappalardo, how are you? What's going on?
Hey, Dylan. It's good to be here. I did not think I was going to be back here so soon. So this is cool.
Yeah. I mean, and welcome to the new Stoots. Right?
This is wild. You guys have plants and everything. Like
Well, let me be honest with you. None of these plants are real.
Well, that,
all right, let's
that changes it a lot. But coming in off the street, like you coming off the street, it's a nondescript building. No one would ever find this place.
Yeah.
And it's great to see what I'm paying for, you know? And that's what I'm proud of.
There you go. I mean, I always assumed that like offices for places like the Joe Rogan team and that kind of thing are in like unmarked buildings that nobody would ever know what they are. They'd have to be, right? So, if there is ever a moment where Shad gets canceled, which is just inevitable, right? It'll come. And I'm of course squeaky clean in my record. It'll never. But somebody on this podcast once ranked the continents, and I don't know who it was. Who could it have been? Was it me? So only a matter of time.
Is this is this episode 2 of the Dylan arc?
Dude, in a way.
In a way.
Well, I was just about to say, for those that are watching and listening, a very important member of the team, someone that you guys have come to know and have really look forward to seeing on every episode is not here. Of course, that being Joshua Liebhauser. He's not here to produce today, but Shad's also not here, which is in lesser news and other news. So we'll see how this swings, right? Because the only time I've ever had somebody that was just me and a guest, or I set up like that, it was me and my mother. So can you operate in that space for me, Joe? Just because that's what I'm familiar with.
Yeah, I'll do my best. I'll be like, honey, you should call your brother Shad.
He hasn't heard from you in so long.
You know how he feels about the way I don't love him as much as you.
And I want you to tell him that fact. I want you to let him know and remind him that he is not as loved as you are.
What is this accent your mother has?
I guess it's sort of like an East Coast mother accent. Yeah.
That was
Long
like
Island Italian accent.
Yeah, Italian's the word for it. Yeah.
No.
Do we normally record with the door open? Is that usually?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Is that making you a little bit nervous?
Oh yeah, anyone could burst in here.
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, and we joked about this beforehand, but this is true. There are surprise guests waiting down the hall that will come in periodically. It's one of these 3 people: Hulk Hogan, Chris Rock, Donald Trump. One of those 3.
Donald J. Trump.
You know what all of those people have in common? They have all said the N-word on recording. That's really what it is. And they all wanted to ambush you.
And we're about to join a 4th. Here we go. My favorite.
The inauguration.
Anytime someone films me on stage, I just go, tell them I said the N-word. And then that clears it up immediately. Because then I'm like, gotcha, recording. And I'm also like, please cancel me.
Yeah.
Please make me blow up. Lie.
So yeah, let's talk a little bit about that. Because I mean, obviously, as a comedian, as a person that is doing stand-up on the reg, as they say. I mean, does that make you a comedian by definition? Like,
it's like being a journalist. Yeah, you can just be like, I wrote something.
Yeah, I am a journalist. It's a self-assigned title. More than
I
anything.
gave a best man speech. I'm good now. I'm in the game.
Oh goodness, have you been able to give a best man speech since you've started doing stand-up?
Yeah, I did like 3 months in.
Okay, yeah.
And it went really well because my family was drunk.
It's the best thing about giving it, because I've given a couple of best man speeches,
right?
And yeah, the expectations are so rock bottom.
Yeah,
right. Like people, anticipate, especially, and this is gonna sound terrible, but especially if the maid of honor goes first, because if maid of honor goes first, you are set up for a home run immediately.
Yeah,
right. Because they're up there, they're like, I didn't think there was anyone out there in the world who was good enough for Cindy. I always said, you better be a good one before you can get my girl, my best girl. And when I met Jim, I knew that finally there was someone good enough for my girl. And then,
she's being so vulnerable.
I know. And you were going to have the best life together. And then it sort of just wraps up. And then, you go up there and freaking hit him with the off-color joke about the groom's sex life, and then everybody's just applauding.
Yeah, every wedding speech section is just a stand-up show. It's a couple women speak their truth, and then a guy says the worst things you ever heard. It's just a stand-up show.
It's just a Saturday night at any bar in DC.
It's always bad when male best men. It's always bad when best men go up and just talk about themselves the whole speech.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's like it gets dark and you're like, what are you doing? Like, oh, I was gonna kill myself. The groom pulled me out. Anyway, I love you guys. Congratulations. How are we gonna dance now? My mom wants to know more. What do you?
Oh goodness, yeah, that sounds like hell. I mean, I don't know. It's one of those things where the thing about a wedding is that most people like completely block out what has happened in the last 20 minutes just in like the feeling that they need to push forward and get through the process, right? Where it's like, grandpa just said some race to the other side of the family. All right, we're just going to move on. We're just going to keep rolling. Nothing we can do. Through. Yeah, we got to get to the other side of it. Yeah. I mean, maybe this is bad to say, but I think the only wedding I've ever been at where I didn't like the whole time either fear for something bad happening or wanted to get out of it as quickly as possible was my own wedding. I think that is probably the only wedding that's ever happened.
That's beautiful. You didn't want it to end. You love watching your wife sweat.
Honestly, I did want it to end. Let's not be around the bush.
This guy wanted his wedding to end.
Yeah, no, but I wasn't like dreading the experience, and it wasn't a bad time. Like I had a genuinely good time at my wedding. But more and more as I grow up, I feel like that's less and less of a thing for people. Right? There's all this drama and stuff going on in the background.
Yeah, there's drama. Like maybe the two families don't get along or something. I don't like all the attention. I don't like the fact that I'm going to spend a day where me and my beautiful wife to be, and then wife, I guess, everyone is just staring at us the whole time.
Yeah,
and we're like. It's like paparazzi.
Yes.
I hate that.
It's super performative. And listen, I've been saying listen and prefacing a lot of what I'm saying. I don't know how actually, off the wall this is, but I think that everyone within a month after they get married believe that they should have eloped. Like, I think more often than not, that's the case.
I thought you were going to say have sex, and I was excited. That's all I wanted to hear.
I think that at least 90% of people after the first month have had sex after they get married.
Had a buddy.
I think that's probably the case.
I had a buddy imply to me he hadn't. And that was horrifying.
Dude, yeah. I mean, that
like
is
looking at that man's soul, I'm like, oh, Josephite. No, it's funny. It's funny thinking about that because like we've even joked about it, like me and my girlfriend, like about eloping because it's like it'd be simpler. It's also cheaper. Yeah. It's so expensive to do a wedding. Like just talking about it with people will cause them to collapse. Yes. Like they can't. Like the amount of money.
In time, planning, like everything, stress.
I mean, I'm not doing that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there you go. You have been released. Yeah. All you need is to be marrying somebody who's very A-type who will take that on for you, right? And you don't have to worry about it. That's the ideal situation. I forget, what were we talking about before? Oh, yeah. So we were talking about cancellation stuff, right? As a comedian or a comedian.
Oh, wow. We're back on topic.
Yeah. I realized that we went way off the tangent there. Is this something that you are obviously you're not like up there the entire time thinking like, oh, I got to be careful about what I'm going to say or else it's all going to fall apart. But do you have a fear of it, or do you feel like, oh, it's a possibility that it'll just sort of turn out? No, I mean, it's just you're up there and you say something and people frown and you just feel like the worst person in the world. Yeah. And if they frown and then they frown the rest of the time you're on stage, it's like, I'm so sorry. I should never have come here. I'm sorry for ruining your dinner in this pizza restaurant that you're watching someone do open mic comedy in. Like, I'm so sorry I ruined your night. But also like, it's a risk you take. I don't know. It's fun. I do like, I like when you realize that people don't hold a grudge till the next joke. Like they don't hold a grudge through the next joke, I should say. So a lot of times they'll frown at a joke you say, but if the next one's funny, they're like, oh, hey, we're back. Yeah. You can win them back. You can. It's a possibility. You can win them back, people. And I've learned that in marriage too. I'm not married, but watching other people's marriages. I'm like, oh, he won her back. Yeah. There you go. You just have a great closer. Like, honey, I'm going to leave if you don't change that attitude. And they kept coming back. It was crazy. Probably my most offensive and aggressive move, but she just kind of came. She won't leave. Yeah, she won't leave. Now, so this first two things. One, I will say you would have to do a lot to win me over if I went to have pizza at a pizza restaurant, not knowing there was going to be an open mic comedy night, and it just appeared. Right? That would be, to me, that is a living hell. Actually, that seemed like I am not mentally prepared to have somebody go up there and do a Bill Clinton impression, right? While I'm trying to eat my za, dude. Like that is too much for me. Breadsticks, like them. They're pretty good. You look like you'd be great on my plane. Extra sauce with that one.
You remind me of my wife's friend. Okay, Bill. All right. I think it's it's hard. It's hard doing that. And then like you're going out with your friends too, and like if you're in a group of people, then you don't want to laugh unless your friends are laughing. Mm-hmm. So there's like a cold war going on.
Yes, exactly.
Like they're waiting to break.
Yeah, and if you go in there with the motivation of I'm going to go to a stand-up show, I feel like you're equipped for it. You've got more time to like. I feel better for the comedian, right? Because it's like everybody there wants to be there for this content, right?
Well, you're not going to a random bar then. You're going to a club, hopefully, or something. I don't know. Support local stand-up. I don't know. It's been fun, though. Like, I'm 2 years in now, and I'm still bad, and that's cool.
Yeah.
I was way cockier when I was on this podcast earlier.
The first time you were on the show, you came in hot, right?
I was furious.
You were like, everybody sucks except for me. I'm the best.
I didn't say that.
Well,
a clip of me saying exactly that. Like,
I'm gonna read through the lines on this one. No, but you were like starting beef or like calling out people and stuff like that. Like,
I wasn't calling out people.
Not directly.
Not direct people.
Yeah.
No, it's funny though, because like none of that's changed. It's just you learn to like ignore a lot of it, because it's like, oh yeah, a lot of people try this thing as a hobby, and that's cool. And you have to do it for a very long time before anyone cares. So just shut up. And I was like, okay. Like my favorite was talking to someone who's been doing it longer, and I was complaining about people, and he said they all suck, and I was like, oh. Everyone sucks? He's like, yeah, you all suck, all of you, everyone trying to get on this show sucks. And I'm like, oh. I was trying to be like, who's the shiniest turd? Like, it doesn't matter. So
exactly.
It's been fun though, like having like one, being good at one joke, being able to do 1 minute where people are impressed. You're like, cool, like that's fun.
Yeah, I mean, as people always say, your first special, right, is you're the last probably 10 years of your best material, right? Like you've had 10 years to refine it, or even, if you're slow.
I mean,
right?
now you're giving me more fuel to like complain about people, because some people aren't waiting 10 years to do that.
I know.
And it's like, why? But yeah, I think it's good to do when you have that overnight thing because you waited so long. I think with anything, like any sort of like art where you refine it over time is cool. Yeah, I called it art because it is, and I'm proud of it.
Look at you.
But yeah,
my little artist over here.
I actually say the best thing that's happened to me is I've realized I don't need to like kill myself trying to do it constantly. Like that's why I'm here. I'm able to like take a few days off from bombing in bars. And that was a come to Jesus moment with a certain special someone in my life where they're like, what can we spend time together? And I was like, yeah. Yeah, we should. That's my bad.
Yeah, well, hey, you're married to the game, right?
Yeah, don't hate the player, hate the game, baby.
Your first love was comedy,
Yeah, for 4 months. And then you meet someone and you're like, oh.
I have to choose.
I can't choose. But it's cool. It's fun doing it. I'm still doing it, and I'll keep doing it until I can't do it anymore. Yeah. Which is pretty much, I think that's the best way to do something like that. Like if opportunities keep falling in your lap from different places, it's like, okay, I'll do those. But eventually that might stop, and then I'll be like, well, maybe I'm not invited anymore. And that's okay. I think that's how it should be. I think it's crazy. Some people either banging on the door or they're walking away from like a great opportunity because they just, I don't know, they think they're not good anymore or something, which is another thing that happens. Isn't that crazy? Yeah. Like I've talked to people where like they're amazing and then they think they suck. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Well, I feel like for, I mean, we've talked about this on the show many times, but sort of, the Dunning-Kruger effect situation where there is a period of time where you are pretty good, but you have no sense that you are, and are actually sort of self-deprecating to a point of being problematic, right? Like you're sort of stunting your own growth because of it.
Yeah, we just
need to see that there.
We got to boost everyone's self-esteem. We got to.
You know what? Together. That's the thing is like there's not enough self-esteem in stand-up comedy. That's the main issue.
Oh, I was just speaking for everyone. I just want to relate this to everyone. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
We're trying to be. I don't know who I was mimicking there. Tony Robbins. We're trying to be Tony Robbins. The lights just flickered when I did that, so I'm going to change the name. We're trying to be.
His spirit is amongst us right now, dude.
Trying to be someone else.
Dr. Phil.
Dr. Phil. But it is crazy. Yeah, it's cool doing it. And then and then I still have a day job, and I'm like, okay, I got to do that too. Yeah. The big thing was for me, because this is a show about obsessions.
Welcome to the show Monomaniacs, everybody. I'm Dylan Strehle. We talk about people's monomaniacal obsessions, right? Joe Pappalardo, you got there before I did, right? Welcome back to the show, by the way.
Yeah, so this show is brought to you by Pfizer. And
well, this couch between the two of us, 27 vaccines, 37 boosters.
I'm so boosted.
Dude, boosted out of my gourd, dude.
I actually I took the jab once. I guess twice because it was 2 doses. But as they put it in my arm, I was like, I can hear Bill Gates' voice in my and it made the nurse laugh. And I was like, I'm killing right now. I'm killing myself. Yeah. Don't do it. Don't do drugs. That would be funny if they have to do like an anti-drug campaign later. Okay, we're going to get deplatformed for this. I'm going to get in trouble.
There's going to be a little sign underneath this video.
This is not advice.
Yeah, misinformation. Yeah.
It's kind of like the stock market. Like, you have to be like, I'm not a finance expert. I'm not a medical expert. I just like the drug. Yeah. That's really, I'm not a medical expert, but I like Oxy. Yeah. Okay.
I actually, I have this weird, it's a disorder, right? I'm going to preface this. It's a terrible disorder, but I am sexually attracted to the idea of getting vaccinations, right? I've gone to every single one of them, got the boosters on it. What do you do? At that point, I'm a broken man. What can I say?
Man, you're afflicted. Dude, a guy.
Dude, there was a minute there where I didn't think you guys thought that was a joke.
No,
you guys were looking at me like that was serious.
There's people on the other side of the camera right now that were just gasping during that. They were like, "What the heck? This guy's skin popping vaccines." Hold on. Every morning I wake up with a little polio. This is my favorite thing when people were, no, I'm gonna get you in trouble. I can't do. Okay, the bit that I had about it was that. Like, it's great. It's great, the different ones we've had in the recent years. I won't say which ones people really celebrate, but we know which ones they celebrate a lot. Yeah. But like, if you had to pick a top 5, it's not even in the top 5. Like, you're gonna pick that over polio,
Spanish flu.
You're gonna pick that over Spanish. We managed to save people from being paralyzed, and you're saying this is better than that. I don't know, dude.
That. I mean, I'll be honest with you, Joe. I don't think people are out there doing tier lists of the vaccines. Though.
I think it's funny to do. I think because it's funny when people are like, "This is the best thing that's ever happened." It's like, is it better than that? And they're like, "Okay."
Dude, what if we
stand up
right now? Brant, go ahead and Brant's here, by the way.
If there's a conversation happening somewhere, Brant is drawn to it.
Yeah,
he knows it's there.
Yeah. Like, could you go ahead and go print us out like a 2x3 tier list board so we can do a tier list of the vaccinations in human history?
A vaccine tier list. Mumps, measles.
S tier.
Smallpox.
S tier.
It'll be funny when we get to the ones where like, we don't even know that's a vaccine. Like chickenpox? I don't
swollen arches?
Gout?
Dude, no. Gout, though, real problem. You hear about this? You guys hear about this? It's like that freaking South Park bit. So apparently, a lot of food-focused Instagram celebrities, right, travel around the world, eat a lot of food, eat a lot of rich food. Right?
Yeah.
What gets you gout is high-fat diets, right? Like if you were but an extremely high-fat diet. The only person I know who knows a person who has gout, like literally had gout and died from it, was because they only ate pepperoni sticks from gas stations. That was like the only thing that they ate. They were a trucker that only ate pepperoni sticks from gas stations, and then he got gout from it, right?
Dude, that's just the American dream.
That man is the most free man in the world at that time.
You are clogged with preservatives, speeding down the interstate in a truck that cannot go faster than 72 miles an hour, even if it went off a cliff. And you're listening to the podcast. He probably has a second job he was doing. That's probably why. That's probably why he actually died of gout. Was he was so stressed from that second job? He's like day trading while he's in the truck.
Exactly.
You ever go on trucker YouTube?
I haven't gone on Trucker YouTube. No, I played a lot of Euro Truck Simulator, but
you're adjacent. Then you're almost in. Yeah. These guys have guides on how to get an Xbox set up in your truck.
Yes.
For when you sleep. Yeah. And then all the comments are guys being like, how do you have time in the game? We drive 14 hours a day. And that's when you learn that none of the guys in these trucks are sleeping.
Yes.
They're playing Call of Duty.
Dude, the math.
That was misinformation. I know they sleep.
The meth epidemic amongst truck drivers, severe.
Really?
Yes. Lots of stimulants going through the truck drivers, because they got to make those deadlines. They got to get those bonuses. They're taking the meth. All that jazz, whatever it takes.
I got to get in on that, man.
There was a time in my life, and this is not a joke, where I legitimately thought, what actually would be a sweet gig would be a truck driver. Because, right, you got one thing you're doing. You are just driving. There's no creative thinking required. It's not physically intensive outside of the tired factor, right? You're not like, feeling weak from in your muscles or anything like that. And you can do something else like listen to a podcast and just jam
Yeah.
all day.
Yeah, you can. But then I want you to remember what it was like being in English class at 8 a.m. And you just keep going, I'm not going to fall asleep. I'm not going to fall asleep. and instead of like just pulling your face off your desk, you're pulling it out of someone's barn.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
It's like, great.
Yeah, or you take out a family of 3, just because you couldn't stay awake.
Yeah, can we splice in a clip of that happening people to get the visual?
Yeah, exactly.
I want people to know what it's like. Well, I mean, it is cool. It is a big like business thing now. Is people they'll buy like 2 trucks. They drive one. They pay a guy to drive the second, and they're making good money.
Yeah, I bet.
And that's what's crazy about the automation thing is like if the self-driving trucks take over, that dude.
Well, I've heard that is going to be an enormous hit to the economy.
These guys all got to start podcasts now,
dude. Trucker Cast. I bet that exists.
We used to listen to Trucker Radio.
Josh, look it up. Jamie, look it up.
Jamie, play it up.
he's not here. Okay, well,
game by day, Monomaniacs podcast by night, all day.
Goodness. Now,
oh man,
I can imagine. Yeah, you could literally monetize a podcast that you record while you're driving with other truckers over a radio.
Yeah, I hope that someone's doing. We'll have to look that up.
Yeah,
It is weird because Brant found a bunch.
Brant found the podcast.
Thank goodness.
Trucker Dump.
Dude,
you know what? There's another name you could probably have chosen for that one, guys.
Dude, Trucker Dump. We're on the open road. Where's? Never mind. I don't want to make fun of those guys too much.
Yes, yeah. They're America's backbone.
But they're into some wild stuff on the road.
The tier list goes: the troops, the truckers.
Oh no! A vaccine tier list. It's like COVID, polio, meth. You're like,
yes. The vaccine that keeps America running. Methamphetamines. Oh, goodness.
I respect our president.
Yes.
I mean, it's not, you're not making any money on YouTube from this, but that's okay. I was going to say, I got off a Zoloft was the big thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
That's my big thing. I'm no longer on Zoloft.
Yeah. You are off the is it SSRI?
SSRIs.
Yes. You're off the SSRI.
I got on them because I was so stressed.
Mm-hmm.
I was losing weight. I've gained 25 pounds recently, by the way, since I last appeared on this podcast. So I thank everyone for noticing. Leave a comment below what you think I ate to get to this, and I'll respond.
And I would say
the
highest guess will probably be rice and unseasoned chicken. That'll probably be...
You would be wrong. The amount of slander I've taken on this podcast for being removed from the patrons list briefly. I only eat beef now, seasoned. Not enough, some would say, but that's okay. No, a lot of milk too, which is high fat. So I gotta be careful now that you're saying that. I'm gonna have some serious gout.
Yeah, you don't want to get the gout, dude.
But you don't want to be on Zoloft if you're Joe Pappalardo. I won't say it for anyone else. I'm not a medical professional. I just like the stock.
Yeah.
And they have what they have here is I was so stressed. I was like losing weight. I was having health issues, like autoimmune stuff, and I was like, I don't know what's going on. And I should have known it was stress, but I didn't. And I go to the doctor and I schedule an appointment. I don't sleep a wink the night before that appointment. And that was when I realized, like, oh, I don't have a health problem. I have a mental health problem.
Exactly,
I'm like, oh gosh. So I go in there and I'm like, I'm just anxious. And he prescribed me drugs without any real evaluation. He gave me, wrote me a prescription, which should have been the first red flag. He wrote me one for a pill that helps you sleep and a pill that helps you not be anxious. I'm on those for 2 years, and for 2 years, I have zero sex drive. Mm-hmm. And the whole time, I'm just thinking, I'm a really good Christian man.
You are at that moment an asexual. You were castrated into asexuality.
Absolutely, that's what it did to me. Yeah. And really, what I was on faith enhancing drugs. I was like the Lance Armstrong of not thinking thoughts. And it's great because it quiets your thoughts, but then it's also like I couldn't date.
Yeah.
And when I started dating, it was hilarious because they notice, like women notice, like he doesn't like seem to want me. Like he enjoys being a pal.
Yeah.
Like, why does he just like hanging out?
Yeah.
What am I doing here? And then I was like, oh crap, I know what it is. And I quit the drugs. And then I was like, oh, I'm not a good Christian man. But we're a good Christian couple, which is great. And it's sweet. But yeah, it was really lame realizing that, because I'm like, oh man, like it takes that away from you. And then you realize so many people are on this.
Yeah.
Probably have the same problem. But like I get it. Like if you're going psycho in a city, which is why I was on it. Like if I was out in the country, maybe I wouldn't be as bad. That's not true. I don't know. I'm crazy. But yeah, getting off is
Joe,
crazy.
Having known you when you were at college and not in the city, it would have still been a thing.
These people.
The neuroticism, dude.
Dude,
Off the chain, dude.
I think, guys, what are we? We need to burn our clothes. We need to. It's like I was just Kramer. I stopped taking I stopped taking hot showers, Jerry.
Yeah, you would kick down the door to our dorm room and just say the most psychosexual thing possible.
No, I was saying things that were helpful and informative.
Well,
they were graphic and detail.
Both of those can be true, Joe.
It's about introducing information people haven't considered. Like
being that X factor.
Like, would we have the political problems we had today if clothing wasn't legal? So if we went Adam and Eve,
like
would everyone just be like,
legalize clothing?
You ban clothing, everyone moves to the tropical areas, and then we just figure it out in a retirement community.
I want to say that you're right there, Joe, but
I'm trying to get it.
Okay.
You gotta.
I'm kidding.
Pump the brakes.
That was a joke. That was a joke to future and current employers. All this is a joke. I can't wait.
Oh goodness.
Brant's checking the timestamp on that because he knows it's going to come back later. Joe, you got to cut that. You can't leave that in. I hope my girlfriend walks in right now and is like, "You got to stop." They're outside. They got signs. I mean, they have picket signs. They say, "Hide that."
Yes.
Cover up.
Get it out of there.
Instead of free the nipple, it's cover yourself.
To speak on the drug aspect here, we were discussing earlier. I went to the doctor for anxiety.
Right.
And he immediately prescribed me Xanax.
That's
Xanax.
heavy, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's very heavy. I did end up taking it, right?
Do you have it still?
No, I don't have the pill. I did not pick up the prescription because I knew if I had it, dude, there would be a moment where I would take it.
Right.
In all honesty, because I know that it is immediate anxiety relief, right? It's like at that exact moment.
Well, it's cool.
Boom. Yeah. Yeah, and also the cred, dude.
There was no rap song about Zoloft. Yeah. Because that song would just be Zoloft makes you soft.
Yeah. So soft. There you go.
Zosoft.
The sheer amount of sexual energy you need to make a rap song, right? Like those guys on Zoloft, they ain't making rap songs, right? It's not going to happen. Xanax,
someone's going to leave a comment and be like, I made a whole album about it. And then you listen to it and it's just like,
dude, I would listen to that album. I will say, that person who's out there, send me their SoundCloud link.
It's just the Blade Runner soundtrack.
The love theme from Blade Runner over and over again, with a really half-assed verse over the top of it.
It's just Shad.
Yeah,
Shad made that.
Yeah, dude.
Shad,
no.
Shad's straight edge though. He doesn't mess with that.
No. Well, let's not slander our boy.
I would not slander Shad. I would just say I miss him. I miss him real bad.
You saw him last night.
I know, I did. I bumped into Shad last night, and he hugged me, and he was like, "Good luck tomorrow." And I was like, "What?" he didn't say that. That was a lie.
Yeah, because me, I'm a battle axe, right? You come on this show, I'm going to be asking the hard questions. You're going to get. I'm going to, like a chainsaw, skin your ass raw, right? As a great man once said.
Dude, we dropped an A word on here. Dude, you guys aren't ready for the Patreon. I'm going to be telling everyone exactly why Zoloft actually rocks. And I'm mixing it.
Yeah, dude. Listen. People don't want to tell you this, right? You look this up online, scrub from the internet, right? Mark Zuckerberg's out here telling you can't do this. Zoloft, Hennessy, cough syrup, same concoction. Stir that up.
Oh my!
Put it in the microwave for 20 seconds. Cloud9, brother. Cloud9.
Imagine being the guy at parties who's like, "You're not supposed to mix that with alcohol. You're not supposed to do that." Shut up. That's actually one of the reasons that was one of the things that convinced me to quit drinking was because you can't drink on Zoloft because it makes your hangovers worse and it makes your anxiety worse afterwards.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So you're saying it makes your anxiety worse, like your post come down after drinking, you're more anxious than you would have been previously.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It offsets you. And I know I knew a guy who did drink. I know people who do drink on it and they're crazy, They're like, yeah, it's pretty bad. It's like, yeah, we don't do that.
Listen, it's all about the temporary quick fix, right? That's why you got to take the Xannies,
Yeah.
Though I do hear that Xanax is incredibly addictive. That's what I hear. Right.
All these drugs eventually are.
Yeah.
I think like you have to wean yourself off of even Zoloft. Like I had to slowly taper it. I know, I mean, people quit cold turkey, but they're crazy for doing that.
Yeah.
But like you get headaches and and like your symptoms try to flare up. But it's good now because like now I'm like, oh, I'm just anxious. Like you're able to call it out.
Yeah.
And be like, stop telling me I'm anxious. I know I'm anxious. Because that's really what happens. Like I was, when I started going on stage, I was doing comedy all the way through it, but I didn't stop. But when I was going on stage after tapering, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like actually terrified.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, go do it, bud. And I actually perform better. The more nervous I am, the better I do.
Yeah. It's interesting that you say that, because I think like there's a what's the word I'm looking for? There's a feeling in theater, right, where if you get to the point where you are not feeling some sort of anxiousness before you go out on stage, you've lost already, right? Like you don't have the dynamism needed in order to like have a organic and true performance, right? And in just improv comedy and stand up, I think it's the same thing, right? You need to have that edge, because if you're too compliant, then you're going to just sort of not try as hard as you can to get out of that space. Right, it's like it's fight or flight, and that energy is important to the best execution.
Yeah, if you're calm up there, it's like okay, we're just hanging out. All right, like you're not doing anything for me, dude. I need you to be scared. I need sweat dripping like right now, and it's always interesting. Like that kind of brings it out, like that the urgency to please. Like, I need a pop right now. I need someone to do something. Someone needs to react.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's definitely the case when you are not like an expert. Right. If you're in the probationary period, right, let's say, if you're bad. Yes, exactly. If you're bad, to me, it's important to have that, because it drives you to be better, because as soon as you are compliant, then you're just what you are. Obviously, somebody like Bill Burr can go up there and not give right and be completely relaxed the whole time.
Yeah.
And I don't think everybody would be like, yeah, cool, he's the man, right? Like he can do that. But, that's not the case for a majority of people who are out there doing it.
He does his podcast live every once in a while, and it's just a special. It's an hour and something special.
Yeah.
Like how?
Dude, beautiful. I know. Incredible.
This is a special for me, but it's special in a different way. And I'm not going to say on the air.
Oh, yeah. But, well, I mean, come to the Patreon and we'll talk in depth about that whole situation.
I'm embarrassed. I drank too much water.
You got to get going. What are we doing on time, by the way, Brant? How are we doing? We're at 33? All right, well, we're going to take a quick break then.
Quick intermission, folks.
Quick intermission.
Killers of the Flower Moon. We'll be right back.
Right back. Peace. And we're back. Thank you for sitting through the commercial break. Honestly, I didn't know I needed tractor treads on my bed, for mobility. But now that I know that that's available, I know I can drive my bed around the house, which is pretty cool. So use code Monomaniacs at checkout for your free test treads for your bed.
I'm glad that guys like you can have toys like that now.
Yeah.
I'm glad they're reaching your demographic.
I know it.
I'm just happy to have a bed frame.
Dude, I will say, having a king size bed will change your life. It is.
Why would I have that?
I'm just saying. Once that happens, once you cross that demographic Rubicon, right, and you are able to have a king size bed, it'll change your life.
Is it like, actually that's a good thing to ask as a non-married man. Is it mandatory? Like, is king size bed just the standard?
No, queen size is a standard, right?
Really?
You can do a double, but that's tough. Queen size is fine. You can get
is there a size
works.
bigger than king?
California king, but California king is longer.
I think
not wider.
That kind of sounds like what I'm going to need given my status.
Dude,
I'm someone people don't like spending a lot of time around me that close. I'm just picking it up. It's a vibe I'm getting.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know why, but every time I stand next to somebody, there's like a 5-minute period where I look up from my phone and they're like at least another 20 feet away from me, and I don't know what the deal is.
It's the opposite of those videos of the cats where they get closer each time. You keep ducking your head around the corner,
just slowly but surely slinking away.
Yeah, the great lady is on her way over here, so she may show up mid episode. So if you hear yelling, that's just me being like, "Hey, these are friends."
Yeah. I mean, the energy I exude, period, is that of combativeness and violence, right? So, anybody who meets me for the first time, their first instinct is to punch me in the face, and I've had to adapt, right? First and foremost, sometimes I go out and I just wear a solid steel spike on the front of my forehead, right? That way, both the aggression is accentuated and they don't want to punch me in the face because they, the damage to themselves could be terrible.
You're gonna be a real sweethart when you're older.
Yeah, dude.
You think that people are just gonna think you're a guy that doesn't think the war's ended, and they won't realize that there's no way you fought in any war.
Yeah, they're gonna look at my physique and know that I never fought in a war.
That's actually a cool thing. People talk about stolen valor, but it's way easier to steal valor when you're old.
Yes, exactly.
No one knows.
Yeah,
you're gonna be fought in Vietnam.
You could go to the I was gonna say the 7-Eleven, the Salvation Army. You go to the Salvation Army and pick yourself up an Air Force jacket.
Yeah.
Right. If you are above the age of 60, nobody is gonna call you out on that. Nobody.
So basically, you hit 60, you get free drinks the rest of your life.
Exactly.
People just thank you for your service. No one thinks
my grandfather was in Vietnam. I know it was hell.
Every stolen valor I've seen, it's a young guy, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Or at least
trying to be active, dude.
30 midlife crisis situations, I think, are pretty common when it comes to stolen valor. A lot of guys who were like, I really wish I would have gone in the military. I really wish I could have made it on the teams. Right, you've all met that guy who was like, I could have been special forces.
Yeah.
But it's also too hard for him to wake up to go to work on a Tuesday. So it's a problem. What the heck is going on?
Yeah,
over there,
your computer's stealing some valor right now.
Holy smokes!
Brent, can you steal
whatever?
Josh's valor and click the right button?
Hey,
nailed it. Perfect.
Brent, do you want to make $35,000 a year being our
By the way, he doesn't make that much. I don't know why anyone. I bankroll this whole operation. Guys, they're not doing well. You got to subscribe to the Patreon. It's not good. I mean, we're in an abandoned office building right now.
Yeah. Literally right outside of Frame, there is barbed wire, right? And that's just to keep the raccoons out.
No,
right?
it's the kitchen from every local parish center.
I will admit that kitchen is rough. That is a rough kitchen. Kitchen, rough bathroom.
I said rough. The lights flickered.
Yeah,
I mean, these guys.
Yeah, and there's also a poltergeist in here, and we cannot afford an exorcist. At least a good one, right?
That's a lie. Actually, Shad would be very mad that you said that. You think he's not my friend? Come over right now.
Oh goodness!
It is cool that we live in an area where the local Catholic priest is certified in every weapon known to man and holy water. I like that. You need a dude who can kill people and cast out demons, but not in that order. Or maybe that order. I don't know.
Well, I mean,
which would you do first?
Listen, God, Jesus cast demons out into pigs, and then the pigs died. Right, ostensibly removing the demons from the situation.
Do you think
so?
Do you think right before he did that, was there a hey, watch this?
Dude, you're gonna freak out, dude. You're gonna freak out.
You guys want to see some wild hogs? Some feral hogs?
Oh goodness.
But you were talking about king size beds.
Yes. The
bed thing is a bit much for me.
This is something you're not going to know until you get married, right? And
is that you actually cut the bed in half and you get
two separate beds. It's like I Love Lucy, if you ever seen that, right? You got two separate beds in the room, two twin sizes. You will not know until you will share a bed with another individual whether or not you're the kind of person that can handle sleeping next to, in close proximity to, a person. My wife and I realized very quickly we have to be on opposite sides of the bed to actually sleep. Right.
Doesn't that mean you don't love each other?
Yeah. That's the moment we found out we were in trouble, right? We were going to have a long marriage ahead of us, was that moment. No, I mean, it's just you spent your entire life sleeping in a bed alone without somebody their body heat being directly next to yours, right? Most people, that's the case, right? And then it's okay, now I got to deal with that. And if you're neurotic like me or you, right?
That's not fair.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm the guy. I'm the guy that quit. I walked away.
You walked away from your neuroticism.
I should have told you. I had a therapist dump me because we were having too much fun together. We became such good pals.
Things were too good. Yeah.
He was like, we can't hang out anymore. Here's a good time,
dude.
He stopped billing me. I don't know if it was insurance or if he just didn't want to charge. Maybe he felt bad.
Oh goodness. Yeah.
But yeah,
it was probably when you were buying probably when you were buying drinks for him, right? That was when it started to cross the line, right? You're like, hey, this one's on me. No, my therapist, my last therapist, he texted me. He's like, hey, when do you want to meet next time? And I like forgot to message back to him, and he never talked to me again.
he was like, nice.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like, someone's getting a nice life insurance payout right now. That guy's like, I'm doing the Lord's work. I saved her a lot of trouble. She go find someone better.
Oh, goodness gracious.
That's horrible.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? Yeah, I could be dead in a ditch. You would,
Not a ditch.
Yeah. Well,
Bathtub.
Yeah. Well,
living room.
I will say, if I had to die before my time, I would want to be in a ditch, because I think the phrase "dead in a ditch" would add so much mystique behind my death, right? A celebrity who was found dead in a ditch lived a fuller life than one that died at home or surrounded by loved ones, right? Listen, you're both looking at me like I'm crazy. What I'm trying to say is,
this guy's just outlining a plan. This isn't. It's not fantasy, people. This is reality in 6 months.
Thursday, November 27th, 2035.
It's going to be a big day.
It's going to be a big day for me.
That's Brant's birthday, by the way. Brant, how old will you be then?
30, 40.
All right, you're going to live longer
30,
than
40.
Brant.
There's a huge difference between those.
You just outlived Brant, man. All right, how do you feel?
Dude, honestly, my two goals in life. One, surf the Big Kahuna in Hawaii, the biggest wave ever. And two, outlive Brant Cohen.
I thought you were saying die in a ditch, but maybe
that's a part of point two, right? Like that whole plan, ideally, we are both in a 2-seater plane, and he's at the front of the plane and I'm in the back. So he dies a millisecond before I do.
Don't.
But I also take him out with me, right? That's the real ideal way it goes.
What's you said plane. I immediately thought of what buildings are there in Hawaii that plane could park itself in.
I think that all the buildings are currently in ash and rubble in Hawaii at the moment. So,
yeah, you're taking that plane into a volcano. You're like, this is for our city.
See, that was the thing. I would save the island because I would sacrifice a virgin as I did it, as the plane would.
Oh my gosh. Yeah,
love you, Brad. I love you very
I'm
much.
out of here.
Patreon's gonna be a battle.
Dude, the combat, man, the clash of the titans.
I think that's fun though. I think that is sweet though. You want to die in a ditch because you want to be like, that's very romantic.
Yeah. It's like that movie. I think is it Drive? Not Drive. No. It's like, it's not Speed. It's the one where the people are sexually aroused by being in car crashes.
All right, that's enough.
Yeah.
I didn't come here to talk about that. I'm going to talk about my lack of sexual arousal. But now that you talk about it, it's coming back.
Yeah.
I kind of
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm pushing you on the wrong places there.
My favorite was like hearing comments from people about the show and like the difference in how they respond to when I'm on versus when other people are on.
Mm-hmm.
And like, there's like, I just wish he wouldn't, I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean you wish I wouldn't? What, I got to censor myself for this show because I don't have children or I'm not related to the people on it?
Dude, literally, I have thought about this often, and which is bad. And I used to be, I thought about this when it came to celebrities, but now I'm thinking about it with me because for some reason, even though I'm not a celebrity, I'm putting everything on the freaking internet. Like I'm recording all this stuff for people to listen to. At one point in my life, my children will be old enough to listen to this show.
Yeah, and they'll be like, "Who was that weird guy?" And you'll have to guess. You'll be like, Joe.
Oh, Nick Rowan, of course. No,
Nick Rowan. let me do my Nick Rowan. Yeah, I know.
The confidence, dude.
Yeah, Yeah, I don't know. I don't have anything. You just gotta talk quiet.
Yeah. It's like. It's like Naked Lunch. Have you read Naked Lunch?
I love
It's just
him.
like that. Yeah.
I do adore him though. Him being I don't want to share. I don't want to air out all the crazy things. But he has some of the greatest reporting this college will ever see, and people don't appreciate it.
No,
it upsets me.
I will say though, every generation, everybody just communally forgets every other student that came before, and so very rarely is there any sense of continuing dynasty in any organization at a school, right?
Yeah, it's pretty cool to come on campus and see my little brother, and they're all like, "Is your girlfriend here?" I'm like, "What about me? What about me, huh? I'm a big deal." they're like Pappalardo funny. I'm like, oh, that's gross that my Instagram handle's your name.
Yeah.
But then I was like, Dominic should just change his to Pappalardo funnier.
Dude, based.
And just do clips of him doing crowd work at lunch. Like, you guys together? You guys Hills dating?
Dude, honestly though, probably like better than 50% of your clips though.
Well, yeah, that's why I delete so many of them.
Dude, yeah, I could not. That is a whole another level of stress for me. Would be like taking the thing I did that is ostensibly in the moment, right? Like stand up is about the room, right? It's about the people that you're doing it with. It's about the crowd work. It's about the energy. You know, something that can land in a room is going to just look terrible recorded. You know, it's like Mark Norman. His stuff is fine recorded, right? Like it's okay. Personally, that's my opinion.
Yeah.
But like when he's riffing and he's like in podcast, that is when he's his funniest, right? When it's like natural and organic. I bet seeing him live is better than, you know.
He doesn't turn it off.
Yeah.
Ever.
Which is beautiful.
Like all my friends.
Jack Reacher.
Yeah, really, like, all my friends that have been around him are like, it never stops.
Yeah.
It's like, and it's like, that's so cool.
Comedy. Goodness.
Very down to earth, sweet man.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you met any well-known comedians in your time? Shaking hands with anybody?
Not shaking hands, but like I've passed them either on the street or at a show, and that's cool. I'm trying to think the biggest names I performed with. I mean, I guess like Tony Woods, but everyone in DC performs with him, which is cool. And he's like Chappelle's big brother in a way. So he'll come straight from doing the Mothership in Austin.
Oh yeah.
He'll come do an open mic in DC, and people will be walking out during his set. And he just headlined like the club, and people are walking out because they don't respect it.
Yeah, yeah.
And he's just up there like, okay, like, and he's super fun. He's super amicable. He'll want you to get a drink with him, and I'm like, you'll be the one be like, I gotta go home, Tony. I can't hang out. And like all these open micers, the first time they meet him, they're so excited, and then they're like, oh wow, he's here all the time. It's so cool. But he's really nice. But that's probably the big one.
Yeah.
Everyone else is like, I mean, yeah, we just have big names coming to town, and that's cool. Like David Tell will come in and bring people up on stage.
I
like
bet.
that's cool. But yeah, I don't know. I just do the shows.
You're in there for the work. You're not there
hard.
for the star power. You're not there for the selfies with the famous comedians.
I don't like the selfies. I opened for TK Kirkland, which is where they have a white guy bomb. That's the goal.
to
So
start things off. Yeah.
7 times.
Yeah.
7 shows, and he made me get a selfie with him.
Here's my white guy.
I didn't ask him for it, but someone else was taking one, and then he saw me. He's like, "Come on, get a photo with me." And I'm like, "Okay." I sent it to my dad. I was like, "Wow," he didn't know who he was.
Wow, good job, kid.
But
good job.
But yeah, it's cool doing that though. I putting the clips out is wild. I think it's crazy. People will just post their whole set.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I couldn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Every pause, no.
No. I mean, I think there is probably the worst, and I don't have experience in this, so I'm speaking from an audience perspective.
What's the best perspective?
The worst moments in a stand-up show is when there is silence after a joke. Not a groan, not like a come on, just utter death in the room.
You wouldn't like most of my shows. Dude, it's rough. It's rough when, especially like I did a restaurant where they were all having dinner, and no one is like crowded towards the stage.
Yeah.
And I opened with an Ohio joke. I made fun of Ohio and said it only has one airport, and it's in Kentucky, which is true for Cincinnati, but not for Ohio.
Yeah.
And what I didn't know was there was a bunch of Ohioans in the front who loved the show, and they were the only people really paying attention. And then I burned them with the first joke. And then everyone else just ignored me.
Yeah.
It was so cool.
It was so good. Great night. Good times.
Because you're just like, at that point, you're just like, oh, I'm playing one-man tennis.
Mm-hmm.
Like, hey, nothing. Cool.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, I you're a stronger man than I will say, in that regard. Yeah.
I think physically. I don't know about mentally. But
physically, yes. I think that you could probably bench press Brant, I don't know, 3 times?
once.
You'd
No,
say
I
once?
don't know.
I don't think I could. I don't even think I could bench press Brant once. I don't think I have that in me.
It's actually a big moment. Brant and I are the same size.
Wow.
We've
Like
never-
clothes-wise? Or
No, just weight.
Weight-wise?
We are the same weight. We could stand on a scale right now, and it would barely tilt until we hugged each other, and then it would be horrible. So it's really cool because now I have to get even bigger than Brant so I can beat him in single combat.
Really?
And become the Monomaniac champion.
Really, when you think about it, any friend that you have that you cannot kill on a whim, not a good friend to have, right? Because that means that they could kill you. That's all I'm going to say.
It's a guy who gets his friendship ideas from TV dramas. Like, any guy you can't kill on a whim.
Dude,
I was on the Prozac. It's The Sopranos. He's wearing a wire.
there was a guy at our school who, I don't remember the dude's name. He was the guy who would wear shorts regardless of what time of year it was. His whole thing that he would like, this is to me some of the cringiest things you could possibly do are things where you try to prove how like edgy you are by just saying things that are edgy in like an anime sense, where it's like if an anime character said it, you'd be like, that is an evil anime character. If a person said it, you'd be like, you need to get out of the house more.
It's like doing the evil laugh. I was I'm going to show you who I really am.
This is but 10% of my power.
Like, dude, we're at a cookout. Stop.
The Knights of Columbus really have worked hard to bring all this fish out here.
Give me back the football. Stop stabbing. Stop. No.
He had this thing where he would say that he, in every situation, whenever he meets a person, he would think of the best, most efficient way to kill them. Right. Which...
It's pretty cool kink, man.
Dude, king.
Dude, nothing gets
based.
me going.
I mean, the idea that... I mean, maybe he just doesn't want friends. Okay, I understandable. Right? You know, some people that they don't want friends. But the idea that like you would say that in casual conversation to me proves that is not the case, because the least efficient thing you could possibly do is alert other people that you're thinking about killing them, right? You know, that's not a very smart serial killer move, or just regular, you know, self-defense move. You don't want people to know you've got a gun on you, right? You want to keep that to your chest.
Yeah, it's great. Like, okay, how are you planning to do that now?
How would you do it to me this exact second?
Well, I was just saying if I could. If I was going to. If I had to.
Yeah.
It just haven't been socialized properly. Like, that's a guy that like you spend 5 years in a locker room with him. Maybe he likes football.
Mm-hmm.
You know, probably not. Probably gonna hate it more.
Yeah. Yes. True. True.
Actually, they're gonna do horrible things to him. He's gonna kill one of them.
Yeah.
He's gonna kill all of them.
Yeah.
That guy, actually, you put that guy in a locker room, he will do what he said he was gonna do.
Dude, that man is going to poison the Gatorade container before the game, right?
No, I'm gonna give everyone here the runs.
Dude,
I could see that guy doing that. He could doing the. Everyone is like cramping up on the field, and you just hear that anime laugh come out of the stadium.
And then the shot is like him standing under the bleachers, and his glasses glint as he puts them on.
he thinks he's cool. He's like, such a lovely voice. And it's like, no, you're not Bane. Shut up. You're the Riddler. You're the Riddler, dude.
I did what had to be done for Gotham, for man.
Dude, I will say though, actually, just a quick side note, I think Bane in the third Batman film, the third Nolan Batman film, is probably the worst part about the movie, or one of. The choice, I don't know whose it was, whether it was Nolan's or it was what's his name? Frickin', it's not Daisy Ridley, that's somebody else.
Daisy Ridley Scott.
Card. You can't hear a dang word he says. Diggity dang it. And it also just sounds super dumb. It just sounds stupid.
I mean, I don't know. Everyone quotes. He's more quotable than the Joker in some ways, which is wild.
Well, it's true.
And I don't want people to get mad at me for saying that. Like, you know, all my friends that also listen to this. That was mean. I shouldn't have said that. That was rude to you.
You know, I think you probably crossed a line there.
But
at this point, I'm regretting having you on the show.
Maybe I'm Bane of this podcast.
You come in here, you threaten to nuke the city, you know, and we have to call in, you know, the outside character, Brant.
Well, I can't wait to get on the next part and be like, I give it back to you, the patrons. It's yours. But it's the original cut. You hear the original version of his voice?
No.
It's even more unintelligible.
Beautiful.
Like the original voice was like, and you're like, all right, yeah, guys, a great movie. So you have a guy that talks like this, which doesn't sound like Batman at all.
Yeah.
We have a South Park character. and then it opens with that guy from Game of Thrones talking to him who's also doing a weird accent.
Yeah.
If I take that off, will you die? It's not a good performance, by the way.
No.
No one
That
talks
whole
about how
plane
bad.
sequence is bad. Just
Yeah.
like period. It's like super. It's like Michael Bay-esque in how over the top it is, and you can't hear a word anybody's saying.
But again, it's the most quotable line. What's the next step for your master plan? Crashing this plane. You're like, oh, dude, that's awesome. I want like you
Dude,
love.
listen.
Guys love things going according to plan, and that's the thing with Bane. You're constantly watching things go according to plan, and it's like watching Ocean's 11, except people are dying.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, that's what guys like. Like we like movies like that.
You know, here's a fun thing. If you're gonna watch a movie or a show that has a heist in it, right? If they explain to you how the heist is going to go before they actually do the heist, that means it's going to go wrong. If you were ever watching something and they give you a step-by-step plan as to what's going to happen, the classic bit, you know, it's like animated and they're like, first we go into the cellar, you know, and that whole thing. If they go through the whole process and then we get out clean, it's not going to go well, right? If they don't tell you how they're going to do it, it's going to work out. Just a fun little fact.
Yeah, that's called writing.
I know. But the thing about it is ostensibly, right, every single one of them is either a question mark or should be certain, right? You know,
Yeah.
but that little kind of, they tip their hand every time they do that.
I like, though, what you just did is you introduced the idea, though, of re-editing The Dark Knight Rises as a heist film.
From the perspective of Bane.
Yeah, they've got 48 hours to blow it all up.
Can they do it? Oh, goodness. I will say I don't know why, you know, with the Cillian Murphy and the Oppenheimer situation, everybody was like, oh man, that guy, I loved him in Scarecrow as Batman movie show, right? Like that was the only thing that they remembered Cillian Murphy for. And he does not do a great job as a Scarecrow.
Yeah,
right?
because he was supposed to be Batman. So he was just
I
like,
didn't know that.
Yeah,
that's pretty dang sweet. He would have been pretty good at that.
he screen tested for Batman. I don't know. He would have been so cute as Batman. You can't do that.
You said Cillian Murphy's cute?
You saying those lips under that cap? It's like the reason Michael Keaton works is because he's got wrinkles. Killian's flawless. You cannot do that. That's why they put Christian Bale. They're like, we need a guy a little more, you know, like heroin addict, recovered kind of thing. He's like, oh yeah,
Dude,
I do that.
You are one of the only people I have ever heard say that Cillian Murphy is like objectively attractive.
No. When he covers up the top half of his head.
Oh, okay. So you don't have the weird eyes?
It's on YouTube. He covers the top half of his head and you're like, those are some luscious lips. Dang.
You know, you're right. Acting is through the lips, is what they say.
Well, it's
Right.
just like with Batman. You're Batman. The lower half of the face is all you see. And it's like, that's just, the guy's too pretty.
Mm-hmm.
It's too pretty. I think that's why he ended up as Scarecrow.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty man playing an ugly character.
Mm.
Whereas Batman is kind of tough. And it's like I think I'll say it for Josh Liebhauser. I think Ben Affleck looks good as Batman. I think that was a good looking Batman. That came out wrong.
I think he's to be fair, I think he's a little bit slim fat for Batman.
Well, yeah.
He's very thick.
I just realized what it is. He's the only Batman with 5 o'clock shadow. And that's why
true.
I like it.
Yeah, it is pretty dang sweet.
He's
Did
barely phoning it in, Batman.
I didn't see the Batman, but did that Batman? I forget the man's name.
Well, I liked it. Just my friends pointed out though that
Ben
Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson. The reason that the movie itself was confusing was Batman's bad at his job in it. Like every single thing that the Riddler does works, except at the end they're saving people. But like, it's just we're watching Batman be too late to the scene of the crime every time.
Mm-hmm.
It's like The Dark Knight, except he doesn't even save Harvey Dent.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't even create Two-Face. Just everyone dies.
You know, both sides die.
You're like, okay, that's a spoiler, by the way. Sorry.
Yeah, for this 20-year-old movie. How old? It's probably like 10.
Oh, I was thinking the Batman, but
no. Okay, never mind.
which the Batman, by the way, the Batman is just police propaganda. Like you watch that, and you're like, I really want to go punch some criminals. Like you're just
people.
I'm vengeance.
People
You're
have.
like,
In fact, a Hillsdale College professor has written an article about why Batman is the alt-right's superhero. Right.
oh man, they claimed him.
Yeah,
Ooh.
they claimed
Guys,
him.
don't do that.
They claimed him. Damn it!
Don't get
he
me
was
fired.
ours, and then the alt-right took him.
That's why they stopped dressing Batman up in blue because the movie's like that'll be too on the nose. He's make him black.
It's a little bit more ambiguous that way.
The Batman. Yeah, I think it would be fun as a heist film though. Dark Knight Rises. You get Bane out there.
Listen, option a script, send it to me. I'll bring it to my people. We'll see what we can do. How about that?
Yeah, it's weird. They're gonna keep remaking them, and we're just gonna be stuck here with them. You know, that'll be fun.
Yeah. This eternal hell that we're in. It's a repetition of all the same 5 movies over and over again. It's great. It's perfect.
What's a new one? There's a couple like fresh. I mean,
Oppenheimer and Barbie were a big deal.
Yeah.
Right? You know, but I'm trying to think. Big names.
I saw Saw X. That wasn't. That was fine. Saw X is so funny reading the reviews for Saw X. It's just like, guys, it actually isn't bad.
Yeah, that's what people have been saying. They're like, finally, the resurgence of Saw. It's happening. Yeah,
the plot, and then you go back and you just read about every other Saw movie. You're like, oh, they were all bad. None of them were good, and everyone's like, finally, it's good again. And it's like, good again? What do you? We only watch this to watch people die. Like,
exactly.
Very Catholic movie, I will say. It's a lot about atoning for your sins.
I would say you could say that about every Saw film.
Right? No, all of them.
In a way, it's all purgatory. You know,
they're all purgatorial. Is that a word? And but it's also like, man, this is psycho. That this is such a following. I remember I had a religion teacher in high school be like, oh yeah, I saw Saul this weekend. I was like, what the heck? What are you doing? And then when he's like, all right, anyway, open up the Old Testament.
There's a whole like genre of films during that early 2000s periods, like Hostel, Martyrs, and the Saw films that were like a lot of what they call torture porn was like very popular.
You know who's into those films?
Don't freaking dox somebody.
That anime guy.
This is exactly what I need. My instruction manual for life.
I put you in a trap. No, dude, I untied it.
Oh, swear to me. No.
Inside this Capri Sun are 2 cocktails. What?
In this straw, a poison. In that straw, the delicious fruit punch flavor of Capri Sun.
This is just the grape flavor and the poison. What are you saying?
I don't like grape, okay? What are we doing on time, by the way?
29 minutes.
29? All right, we're going to start wrapping it up then. Guys, thank you so much for listening. I want to throw a thank out to our patrons. First and foremost, guys, we got our top patrons. Number 1, King of the Hill, Sammy Roberts. Number 2, second place, but equally as important, Luke Robson. Number 3, the King and Queen, Zach and Amber Strehle. And finally, Joe Pappalardo is also there in the top patron list.
Yeah, I don't like how that sounded. I'm gonna have to make some changes on the back end.
DM me your complaints.
I'm leaving here with some equipment. Is what I'm learning from that.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for your support. For all of our patrons, if you guys are interested, Patreon.com/Monomaniacs pod to both get exclusive content and the Patreon post show that we record afterwards, which is additionally uncensored and tends to be a little bit wacky. So thank you again so much for listening. See you later. Joe, is there anything you want to plug before we wrap this up?
Brant, get on the couch. Let's get going.
Yeah, dude. Thank you so much, guys. Have a good one. Peace.